All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wahab Kwadash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone, for teaching his word and truth and sincerity, for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Hey, this is Brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another lesson. And the title of the lesson is The Reproach of Moab. And it was inspired by this video that I saw on the brother Wawai La Yasha Allah Yahawashai is coming back 144K. Title of his video is Psalms 83 and 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. And this shows you Moab. It looked like in the 80s in the South, dealing with Jake, and their perspective or what they saw Jake as, and they still do. These Moabites, they're nothing but proud demons against us, man. And they're into hypergamy. You're marrying up in a race in a so-called race ladder, which they see the so-called white man as the chief step in that so-called racial ladder, and they see the so-called Negro as the lowest throngs of the ladder, you know. And that's another reason why they don't tend to deal with Israelites like that. You do see it, you see especially in the Western hemisphere, but when you go to China, man, you don't see too many of these Moabites linking up with Jake. And if they do, they're going to be ostracized by their people. But when they get with Esau, they get held in high regard. So I just want to play this because, as the brother had quoted Psalms 83 and 5, all these nations are confederate against us. Okay? We, the Israelites, we have no friends amongst these nations. In fact, when we fell, these nations were happy. They weren't. They weren't sad. They weren't. They weren't burdened. In fact, they felt like the burden that was on them was off them because we fell. This is Lamentations 2:15. It says, Lamentations 2:15. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth, right? Because when you look at the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, where they always show us in a bestial state. You look at World Star Hip Hop, you look at other sites like that, they show Jake in a base, low estate, whether they're killing each other, maiming each other, filled with folly, you know. Okay, they show Jake as the as a super drug dealer. I saw a commercial from the '80s, and the dude named Snake, and he was a so-called drug dealer, And then at the end of the commercial, he changed into a snake, man, which he was a demon anyway. If he's selling dope, but the point of the matter is, here it is. Esau's the biggest drug dealer on the planet Earth, you know, but he make our people the face of that. Why? In these nations, they look at our fall, they look at us and say, is this the daughter of Jerusalem? So when it come to dealing with the women, they don't really like it. Now let me play this real quick.
Your people don't want you to be saying this.
Why do you think that?
The way you act, your attitude.
You see, my people, they think the black shouldn't belong with Chinese people. My people want me to marry from my own culture so that, we have our own color because of the blood.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, that's why the Most High separated the people. The Lord didn't set this world up to be a melting pot. Okay, the Heavenly Father, he separated the people, and these nations, they know it. The only time they deal with our people is if they're exploiting our people. Now these women, they'll break their code because they love Jake. They always have, you know. But if their parents had it their way, they wouldn't mix and mingle with our people. Okay, but our people, they look at the nations and envy the nations, and they want to do what the nations do, and they mix and mingle themselves in the nations, and they forgot themselves, man. That was the biggest thing. It wasn't so much that Jake dealing with these women, but Jake would deal with these women and worship their gods, their idols, you know, teach them their kids their mother's language and not their own.
I don't have anything against you. I don't have anything
social status that you simply can't be seen in public with them and still expected having respect.
Yeah, see, and then you see that back then, even he even said blacks have a low social status, so that you can't even be seen to be with them in public and still have any respect. And these Moabites, they still believe that, you know. And our people are scattered amongst them too. Shit, wouldn't surprise me that these people that look like Moabites that's around Jake, fuck around, actually be Jakes, man. But the point of the matter is, the Lord separated nations, and Esau, he's the one that pushed that whole universal, world come together shit. This Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. Deuteronomy 32, verse 8. It says, when the Most High divided the nations, their inheritance, which was their land, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So he gave these nations land, but it wasn't as coveted and as fruitful as that chief inheritance, which was the land of Israel. He gave that to us. All right. But the point of the matter is, the Most High, he divided the nations. Right. So here it is in Babylon the Great, we're forced to be around these heathens like all the time. When you go to the hood, the ghetto, and these people serving you food, they're not serving you out of love. They're not serving you out of necessity because you need food. They're serving you to exploit you. And you see how they interact with you, how they deal with you. They don't talk to you. They use maybe 2 or 3 words with you, and then they're gone. But if you know their language, that's when they'll that guard will kind of come down a little bit. But they always gonna look at you as a low people. Let me play that again. Yeah, he says blacks in the South have such a low social status
That you simply can't be seen in public with them and still
that you can't simply be seen in public with them and still expect any respect. So these nations, they don't respect us. Why? Because we're not in power. That's why when you go, this is how the Edomites the Moabites view white people. Hiring white people makes the company seem very high class.
他可能会好找一点，就是因为好多人潜移默化的认为说啊，他是个外国人，就这样子。
要面对客户的时候，就会觉得有白人，然后整个公司会显得很高大上这样子。
Yeah, so it says
为什么会
hiring white people makes your business in China. If you hire white people at your company, it makes it seem like it's high class, even if it's a shit company. Why? Because Esau, the face of hegemony on the earth, the one with the power, that's who they accept. Now on the flip side of that, you put a Jake out there, man, it's gonna make your shit seem what? Low class, man.
白人就跟高大上就比较，就是这也是我们就是一个传统的看法嘛，所以这是一个偏见嘛，因为大部分人是持有这样的看法的，那所以这些公司为了迎合大部分人的观点，所以才这样做的。
可能白人的话，在国际上来说的话，还是
Yeah, it says white people are more internationally accepted. And why is that? Because they got the power in the earth. When we get power in the earth, we're going to be internationally accepted. And these heathen nations, they're going to placate to us. Same way they placate to Esau. They're going to try to mimic us. Same way. But this is how these Chinese view Israelites, man.
那个视频很短的一个视频，好吧，先看一下。
哎，你好，
这没事，这是我们培训中心的老师。
阿姨好，
老师送给你水果。
谢谢阿姨。
老师啊，卡瑞在家里天天夸奖你，说你帅呆了。
过奖。
哦，今天一见，果然很呆。老师，
刚刚是个在哪里播出的节目呀？
在中央电视台播出的春晚嘛。
春晚在中国是很大的一个节目嘛？
啊，对的，是最大的节目了，等于是。
既然美国人看，那就是 Super Bowl。
基本上大部分的老百姓，可能80%，我觉得可能都会去看这个节目。
那你能跟我描述一下刚刚你看到的一些场面是什么？
哦，这个讲的是就是中非的可能一个铁路项目还是什么，然后可能其中的一小段， 中国人和非洲人的一个友谊吧。
然后呢，就是非洲的友人又体态非常丰满，然后穿着的非常就是颜色非常各异，然后又跟我们就是新年非常有那个联系。
刚刚看的那个视频当中，其实端着那个水果出来的那个女士，你知道是哪里人吗？
好像是看的时候是非洲的。
其实刚刚那个端水果出来的那位女士其实是中国人
啊，是吗？
她其实把这个亚洲人呢涂成了非洲人，把脸涂成了黑色，然后还做了一个假的大的屁股。那你知道这样子的事实之后，你是怎么想的？
化妆师可以涨工资了。
Yeah, so there it is. Because these gooks, he said he's shocked. These gooks, they actually thought that image of the so-called this image right here. They actually thought that this bitch was a so-called black woman, man. And this ain't Ham, because Ham don't wear clothes like this, and they don't have a lively spirit. They actually thought that this woman was a so-called black person, man. That's how stupid and retarded these gooks is. And then they got the audacity to have a reproach against our people. And in reality, I believe that these people know that that woman was Chinese, man. Ain't no motherfucking way, but they do what? Something called blackface. They still do it. And that shit don't stop. It don't stop. These people really believe that these people really believe this is, but many Africans in Shanghai are pretty skinny. Yeah, but so why do they add the extra padding? Because they're trying to make fun of Jakes, man. They trying to make fun of our people. They said they could have at least found a proper African actress, which they wouldn't, because it's all about humiliating us. And the Most High, he hears your reproach, Moab, and you're gonna be dealt with, man. Not just Esau. All right, this is Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 8 says, I have heard the reproach of Moab and the reviling of the children of Ammon, whereby they have reproached my people and magnified themselves against their border. Now, when you read the NIV, it says, I have heard the insults of Moab. And that image that you saw, I mean, this viewpoint that they had in the 80s, and they still got it in 2022, right? The whole image of the blackface thing going on down there in China for the New Year's, which over 800 million people tuned in and laughed and had a big old hoot. Those are insults, man. So I've heard the insults of Moab and the taunts of the Ammonites, right? Because even when you go to Japan, them Ammonites, man, they're always taunting the Jakes, man, who insulted my people and made threats against their land. And that's what these Moabites have done. The Most High have heard it, and He gonna deal with you. All right. It says, verse 9, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah, even the breading of the nettles in the salt pits, and a perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them. Right. So in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to possess you, you Moabites. Y'all going to be our slaves. You're going to be our servants. You're going to be our pot washers. And the beautiful of your women going to be our chambermaids, man. Concubines, all of that. We're going to deal with you, man. And y'all going to be the butt of every joke. Y'all going to be insulted. And none of our people going to dress up like you. We just get some real Moabites to show how stupid and dumb you are. And we're going to deal with you, man. So the scripture says the remnant of my people shall possess them, which is the elect. And then we're going to hand you down to our children. All right. This is Isaiah 16:6. We have heard the pride of Moab. He is very proud, even of his haughtiness and his pride and his wrath, but his lies shall not be so. Right. You're not gonna, you Moabites are very proud against our people. And you think that, the whole world thinks that you're the next up, you're the next powerhouse, or you're the next hegemony. Even you think that yourselves, but you're not. You, right along with Esau, are going into hardcore captivity. But unlike you, Esau, gonna be destroyed after 1,000 years. You just gonna be left very few, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna deal with you, man. You heathen nations, you're about to get it, man. You know, for this Moabite to say that we're so low that if you catch one of them with us, that you're not due respect and still expect to have any respect. So when you deal with our people, that's like dealing with a people of no respect. And the reason why we know that because we don't have power in this society. Okay, we don't hold sovereignty. We don't run policy or nothing, and we're constantly oppressed. So it's like, who wants to be around our oppressed people? Who wants to deal with y'all unless y'all exploiting our people? That's the only time you'll deal with us, but that's okay because your kingdom is not going to be forever. You Moabites, you didn't get put into slavery. When King David was alive, he did deal with you righteously. Well, he killed. Yeah, it was righteous anyway. He made you split y'all up in a line, killed the left side and kept the right side. For what? Servants and handmaids, man. All right. It's that same thing that Thanos did to Gamora's planet. It says, "We have heard the pride of Moab. He is very proud, even of his haughtiness and his pride and his wrath. But his lies shall not be so." That's right. It says, "Therefore shall Moab howl for Moab. Every one shall howl for the foundations of Karaseth shall ye mourn. Surely they are stricken." Yep. So you Moabites, when this thing go down, man, you're gonna be done with expeditiously, man. For your insults, your insolence, man, you're gonna be done with. You're gonna be dealt with. This is Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 8. Thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, because Moab, the so-called Chinese, and Seir, the so-called white man, do say, behold, the house of Judah is like unto all the heathen. So they feel like they can do whatever they want to do to us, especially the house of Judah, because when you go to the hood, the ghetto, the barrio, who you see in these stores? Moabites, man. Whether they be calling themselves Chinese or Koreans, chiefly they're in your neighborhoods exploiting you, man. And they like all the other heathen. These nations, they don't have no fear of us because we're in such a lower state. But when the Lord give us that power, when he magnifies us and beautifies us, you nations, man, y'all gonna bow down quick, man. You're gonna have no choice. You're gonna have no choice. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, because that Moab and Seir do say, behold, the house of Judah is like unto all the heathen. Therefore, behold, I will open the side of Moab from the cities and from his cities, which are on his frontiers. The glory of the country, Beth Shemoth, Baal Meon, and Kerethaim, unto the men of the east with the Ammonites, and will give them in possession, that the Ammonites may not be remembered among the nations. And I will execute judgment upon Moab, and they shall know that I am the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So you Moabites and you Ammonites, you're gonna get it. You have no idea, man. This is nothing but a reproach when you see this.
Expected having respect.
You notice they don't talk that way when it comes to the so-called white man. They don't say that being in his presence awards you or affords you no respect. They believe that it's respectable. And I wonder why.
I would say that my parents never did find out about my dating whites because, well, we never moved in the same circles as my parents and my parents' friends.
Interracial marriage is when a person, when one, to me, interracial marriage is when two different nationalities are combined, when two different.
Yeah, a lot of you Moabites are Edomites anyway, man. That's what you're gonna find out too in the kingdom too, man. A lot of these Moabites, man, are actually Edomites, man. You know, from the Greek era all the way to now, man. And they're gonna be dealt with, man. That pit gonna be a rainbow of colors, man. Watch. You're gonna see. You're gonna see. You know? And in kingdom of heaven, there's not gonna be no interracial marriage, man. We going you heathen women that look like something, you're gonna be a concubine. You know, you're gonna be dealt with. All right, but you're not gonna partake in the covenant that we have between Yahweh Shem and Yahweh Shai and ourselves. Our wives our wives are going to be the women of our nation. All right, you're going to be a lesser wife, but that's only going to be for the Israelites. You other nations, you ain't going to be doing that. You other nations going to have to stick with what the fuck you got. You gonna have to you men of the other nations, y'all gonna have to deal with the women of your nation. Y'all not gonna be dating outside your nation. You're not gonna ain't gonna be no so-called half Moabite, half Edomite. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. To deal with the women of the nations is a privilege that only the elect, starting off with the elect of Israel, which all Israelite men gonna have this ability to partake. The only one that's gonna have that privilege or that right is the Israelite men. You other nations, y'all gonna be 100% homogenous, man. Unless we see something amongst y'all that we like and we taking it, man. Point blank simple. It's with that. Say shalom. On to the next.